We aim to create recommendations that are reasonable, feasible, and something the auditee will likely agree with. My office adheres to generally accepted government auditing standards when we perform audits. We follow these guidelines when we conduct our fieldwork and report our findings. In today's episode of Ask the Auditor, we'll take a deep dive into how we reach our findings and come up with recommendations for an auditee.
Anytime we perform an audit, we begin by understanding the department or program being audited. We create a scoping package that identifies and guides our fieldwork activities. Fieldwork is when we collect evidence related to the auditee.
Auditors must obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to provide reasonable basis for their findings and conclusions. There are three types of evidence. There's physical evidence, like inspecting or observing people, property, or events. There's documentary evidence, like contracts, invoices, and spreadsheets. And then there's testimonial evidence, like interviews of staff and focus groups.
After auditors conduct testing and collect evidence, they develop and document initial findings. Each finding may identify 5 elements depending upon the objectives of the audit. The 5 elements are condition, cause, effect, criteria, and recommendations. Let's break down those elements.
Condition provides evidence on a situation that exists. Understanding the scope or extent of the condition allows the auditor to gain an accurate perspective.
Cause identifies the reason or explanation for a condition. A cause may also explain why there's a difference between a condition and the required or desired state, which is also known as criteria.
Effect is a clear, logical link to establish the impact of the difference between the condition and the criteria. The effect's significance can be demonstrated through credible evidence. Effect is also the measure of a positive or negative change.
Criteria identify the required or desired state or expectation. Criteria represents the law, regulations, contracts, standards, specific requirements, defined business practices, and other measurements against which performance is compared or evaluated. Criteria provide a context for evaluating evidence and understanding the findings, conclusions, and recommendations included in the audit report.
These elements lead to a recommendation, which is a course of action to eliminate or mitigate the root cause of the problem. Our main objective is to encourage management to act on practical recommendations.
To accomplish this objective, auditors make recommendations adhering to the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. We recommend actions to correct deficiencies and other findings identified during the audit and to improve programs and operations when the potential for improvement is substantiated by the report findings and conclusions.
Let's walk through an example using our emergency medical response time audit. Our goal was to review Department of Public Safety performance. We collected evidence, which was call response time data. We discovered call answering times of 15 seconds or less was not occurring at least 90% of the time, which was below national standards.
Based on that evidence, our finding was the city has not met its response time goals for emergency medical response services. We had 2 recommendations. First, the Department of Public Safety should regularly assess Denver 911 staffing levels and use those results to request more staff. Second, it should ensure emergency medical response time goals are realistic. The Department of Public Safety agreed with both recommendations.
To summarize, our findings and recommendations are a result of looking at all the available evidence and guide auditees to make adjustments to improve services, transparency, and accountability. When an auditee agrees with a recommendation, we conduct a follow-up report to assess their progress. Well, that's it for this episode of Ask the Auditor. If you have a question, submit it to auditor@denvergov.org, and maybe your question will be the next question we answer on the next episode of Ask the Auditor.